Uh, Harry Daniels, civil rights lawyer, here with Fawn Dockery and his wife Kimberly, the parents of beautiful Jenesis Dockery. We just got done finished speaking with the Cumberland County Sheriff Office concerning the investigation and the updates of this matter. We've learned that the juvenile, a complaint has been sent to the Department of Justice, North Carolina Juvenile Justice, and those charges were manslaughter as well as larceny. I believe it was 2 counts of larceny, they said. 2 counts of larceny. And let me kind of explain to you what those steps are. Department of Juvenile Justice, they make the determination as to whether they're going to file the petition, as to whether they're going to be moving forward in this case. The Cumberland County Sheriff Office and investigators have investigated this matter, and they saw fit at this time to bring those particular charges. The larceny charges stem from an allegation of 2 firearms, is that right? 2 firearms being stolen from a safe of a relative. One of those weapons that they would believe was used in the shooting. It has been confirmed that the juvenile, in fact, was the shooter that ultimately took Jenesis' life. Make no mistake about it. A lot of people ask the question, why is Harry Daniels here? Well, I'm here to seek justice. Whatever that justice is, we're here to seek justice. Don't know real justice because we cannot go back in time and bring back Jenesis. That's the ultimate justice, what we want, but we can't do that. What we can do is try to hold those accountable, not just this juvenile, but hold those accountable that allow this 11-year-old juvenile to gain access to weapons. As I stated before, he said the gun was in the safe. All right? He obviously knew the combination to the safe to get access to it. This wasn't the first time he was in possession of guns. There's multiple TikToks on YouTube or Instagram, whatever the case may be, showing he had been in possession of weapons before. So where I'm from and how I was raised, if you have weapons and you showing them off, then somebody ain't watching you. There's no supervision here. No supervision in what happened. This, you see this. That's why it's important. It's very important that we pursue justice at the highest level. We're working in tandem with the Cumberland County Sheriff Office. They have given us the information they can give us. You gotta understand this is an active and ongoing investigation and a possible prosecution. And we want to be mindful of that. We're not releasing the name of the juvenile or any other particular details as a result to protect the integrity of this case. But we do know there are some things that has been confirmed, some past behaviors that we will be presented to the Cumberland County Sheriff Office for them to vet all these particular things so we can ensure that the full complaint or the full measure of justice or any prosecution move forward. If it's any racial animus behind this matter or any malicious intent to increase the degree of homicide to second degree or even higher the level of homicide, then we are going to produce that information in order to get some justice for this family. With that being said, I'm going to let Fun, you want to come and say something if you can? It's up to you. All right, they're not going to speak at this time, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up, and please do not, you got to understand it's very difficult. They just buried their child. All right, and any question you have, direct them towards me, and I will do my best to answer the question. Don't ask the question how they feeling. That's, everybody know how they feeling. All right, anybody questions?
Harry, let's talk about the charges that have been filed. Talk about them specifically, and what does that mean in terms of justice? This is an 11-year-old child who's not going to go to jail, but give us the parameters of what happens from this point going forward.
Well, I'm not going to say he's not going to go to jail, and that's a good point, Gilbert. The Department of Justice, the Juvenile Department of Justice, have declined to do secure custodian at this time, which essentially put him in custody under the Department of Juvenile Justice. For what reason, we don't know. The Sheriff Office petitioned for him to be taken in custody immediately upon submitting these charges, this complaint to the Department of Juvenile Justice. So the Department of Juvenile Justice is the reason why, at this time, that this juvenile is still free on the streets. But as it relates to the charge itself, that is the first level of charge. A lot of time when charges are brought from the evidence and the information that law enforcement have at that time, that they feel solid, that they have enough to bring those charges. But like I said, investigation is ongoing, and we have presented information, direct information to the sheriff's office, where we hopefully believe that a higher level of homicide would increase in this time.
So you, at this point, you're clearly not satisfied that no one else other than the juvenile is charged. Tell me what you wanted to get out of this case.
Well, I think that you got to hold true accountability, accountability at all levels, parental supervision, as such. I mean, obviously, this juvenile had access to this safe. All right, either the safe was open and he had access to it, or he had the combination. In my opinion, that is not a secure weapon. If I toss you the keys of my car, I can't come and say you stole it later. I gave you the keys to it, and I knew you had the keys to it. But that's something that we are definitely pushing. We just saw in Edgecombe County where 2 individuals was charged by having a gun out the same day. It may be a misdemeanor in North Carolina, but nevertheless, it is a measure of justice to help this family get past this tragedy, which they would never get over. So we are not happy with, at this time, that the supervision, parents, or whoever the case may be, that's had control of these weapons are not being charged with a crime, and that's something that we're pushing for.
So at this point, there's charges filed. Have you petitioned for any?
Let me be very clear. A complaint has been filed. The Department of Juvenile Justice had to bring the charges. They have not at this time. Okay?
You say they have not filed the charges?
They have not petitioned for charges. They have the sheriff's office have brought a complaint for them to bring charges. It's different when it's dealing with a juvenile. That's North Carolina legislation. That's the reason that they bring. That's their law that they put in play when dealing with juveniles.
So where are you in this now? Because no charges have been filed yet.
What do you mean? Where am I?
In terms of litigation and moving forward.
Well, there's no litigation this time. Be very clear. We are here to seek justice for this family and ensure accountability that charges are brought by every measure that we can take as lawyers. Obviously, we here answer questions. We speak on behalf of this family, and if litigation take place, that's civil. That has nothing to do with criminal. You know, ain't no matter a dollar can bring is gonna make this family happy. None. So let me finish. But my main thing is that we're here to ensure that they do it, and Department of Juvenile Justice do it the right way, and this family's not left out in the cold.
Look, I see Vaughn shaking his head a lot here, and he said he didn't want to say anything, but can he explain to us what justice is to him and his family? Would you mind, Vaughn, would you mind doing that?
We're not this time. We have any other questions?
So as far as the weapon and how he got it and that kind of stuff, is that something you would talk about a little bit, or because obviously if he was over there at the house, was it that house that he got it from, or was some other house? Do we know
Well,
that answer?
and correct me, I know one of our investigators in here as well, and it probably help us that. To my understanding, that it was a relative home that he took the weapons from, not the actual house that he lived at. But with that being said, it was 2 guns that were taken. I'm not going to use the words larceny, stolen, because I don't feel that that's necessarily the case, considered if he had the safe combination. It appeared that he had the weapons for at least, let's say, at least 3 days. And also, you know, we talk about social media platforms where he's yielding a gun that appears to be a functional firearm, and he's cavalier doing it. So my question is, as to at least a supervision, they should have known he had a weapon. I'm gonna come back to you, Gilbert.
Yes, you expressed dissatisfaction with your experience in this process outside of
I'm sorry, did I express my what?
dissatisfaction.
Okay, I thought you said satisfaction.
No, dissatisfaction.
Okay.
Did you want to detail that further, specifically with the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office?
Well, here's the thing. We understand that it takes time when you have these particular cases. And from what we gathered from the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office is that they have presented a complaint for a degree of homicide here and charges. That's all we can ask for at this time. We obviously believe that it should be higher. We produced some information to them today that I'm not going to speak about that may take in consideration to increase that level of the degree of murder. I'm saying murder, but degree of homicide here in the state, maybe the 2nd degree murder. So as it relates to the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, they've given us assurance that they are moving. They can continue to investigate this matter. And that's all we can take at this time. To the extent that they show us something differently, then that's something we'll deal with. It did take a considerable long amount of time. The family can tell you that we felt like it should have happened sooner, but nevertheless, better now than never.
I have a question over here.
Hold on one second. You want to come on?
Yeah. It's about the babysitter. Do you think that person should be held accountable, maybe for negligence or something?
I believe, like I said, for everybody who's involved, who allowed this child to have access to weapons, and participate, because you gotta understand, if mama or daddy don't care, then I'm gonna take the position that I can do what I want to do, as such, and have guns. So we think that it's evidence, clear evidence, that's out on TikTok as such. We're not gonna name the name, but that evidence, that information can be found on TikTok, whatever that, that shows that his willingness to possess and have firearms. But absolutely, if they are allow him to have access to weapons, they should be charged with a particular crime here in the laws of North Carolina. All right, give it back to you.
Look, so I'm looking at a picture of a 11-year-old with a weapon that's been found on social media. Can you confirm, and I'm sure you've seen it, is this the 11-year-old that we're talking about in this case? Can
Well,
confirm that this is,
well,
do you want me to show it to you? I can bring it up.
I'm not going to confirm. I'm not going to confirm it. I'm not going to confirm it. It's other sources, but I think that important that we need to be mindful of the laws here in North Carolina as well as identifying minors and juveniles. But I will tell you this.
I'm not going to say his name.
I will tell you this. I'm not going to deny it either. So.
Is that a yes?
I'm not going to deny it either. Any other questions?
So back to the babysitter. The babysitter, his parents, or whoever he stole the gun from, or whoever the gun was taken from, did the sheriff's office give you any indication that they're pushing towards that? Or
I'm sorry.
Are they pushing towards charging them as well, or they just don't have the evidence? Did they give you an indication that you can share with us?
Well, like I said, we've presented information, and obviously at this time there's no charges have been brought of either the babysitter or the person who the owners of the gun allowed them minor or any degree of negligence. That's something we don't have that information as to. We know that it's been allegation that the guns were stolen. That's where the larceny charge come from. But in its totality, for what it is, we don't have any information to suggest that they have enough to bring charges against the babysitter and or the person where the guns come from. But we are pushing for that.
And that is a possibility as the investigation.
Absolutely. That's the district attorney in Cumberland County decision and choice. You understand that the juveniles dealing with the Department of Juvenile Justice, dealing with adults. That's when the Department, district attorney office through the sheriff office get involved. This is an ongoing, active investigation. Make no mistake about it. And we are continuing to gather information. People from the community that can reach out to us, and I'll give you my phone number at the end so people who's watching can reach out who may have information that otherwise that they wouldn't come to the sheriff office to bring to us, and we can probably facilitate with the sheriff office. Yep.
Yeah, in your briefing just now with the investigators, I just want to go back to the safe and be clear here. Did they indicate how the juvenile was able to get into the safe? Did he know the combination, or did he just figure it out, or without any help from anyone? Did they give you any clear understanding about how he opened that safe?
I think it was some indication. I don't quote me on that. I don't want to say anything. Well, it sounded like he might have had a combination. That he might have had a combination to the safe, and
Is there any indication?
having a combination to the safe is not a secured.
Right.
If that's your answer. That's me.
Is there any indication that the parents or grandparents knew that he had the combination?
Well, that information was not provided. We don't know that answer, but it is for sure that if they would have been more diligent and paid attention to that 11-year-old, they would knew he had fantasy of having guns and put them out on social media and not have a problem showing them off. So at minimum, they should have known that. And if his guns was in the house and he liked guns, you may want to take an extra step to secure those guns.
So did the 11-year-old live in the house that it happened at?
Apparently, according to law enforcement, that the weapons came from a relative's home, from another relative's home. So whoever that relative is, we don't know. I'm sure at some point we will discover the information.
that you, in your press releases, that you were kind of frustrated with the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department's kind of ability to push this case through. Now that you're kind of speaking with them a little bit more and having a little bit more of a conversation, do you still feel that same frustration, or do you feel as though they're working together with you more to kind of help find the solution to this case?
Well, I think your question is that do I have a change of opinion as to being frustrated? I do not have a change of opinion, because this should not have taken, when is 20 July? How many days ago?
2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks. So yeah, my frustration still stands that it's taken this long in order to submit to the Department of Juvenile Justice. So I still share that, but that's one of the reasons why we want to come here, so it won't be lost in translation that this Dockery family ain't going nowhere. They're not going nowhere. This community in Fayetteville support and stand by this family. They're not going anywhere. They're going to get justice for their child. And not if they're seeking justice for their child, then they are hopefully securing that no other family had to stand in front of their sheriff's office and deal with this. And that's the ultimate goal here that we can try to ascertain. So
what are your next steps?
get information, continue to get information, feed information. The process as the Department of Juvenile Justice, like you said, the Department of Juvenile Justice have not ordered a secure custody order. That is very baffling to me, that even at any age and a level of intent to shoot and kill somebody should at least be put in custody, because they obviously have shown that they are a danger to others in this community, no matter their age, their willingness. And I think it's very important that the Department of Juvenile Justice take appropriate measures immediately. The sheriff can't lock them up. North Carolina legislation doesn't allow it. The only people can is the Department of Juvenile Justice, and we and this family answer for them to do as such, as this case matriculate through the Department of Juvenile Justice.
Do they have a timetable to respond, or have they already responded and said we're not going to do it?
No, they haven't responded. They have not responded this time. The sheriff's office is pushing very adamantly for them to bring this petition.
Is there a time period from a legal perspective?
I don't know if it's a time period as to whenever it been cases presented. They never brought them death cases, so we have to wait and see. But we'll keep you updated.
Did the sheriff indicate when they put their paperwork into the juvenile?
I think they when they said today. Today.
Okay, and I want to be clear, you didn't meet with the sheriff, you met with investigators, or did Ennis Wright come and talk to you as well?
I met with the legal counsel of the sheriff's office and the investigators.
Is that Ronnie Mitchell?
That's right. Seems like you know all of them.
I know him.
Any other questions? All right. You want to say something? I'm going to let him say something, but please do not ask any questions. Respect for this family. All right. You want to say something? Y'all come up here. This has been a horrible nightmare. Still doesn't feel real. It's hard to put into words how we're trying to navigate 3 weeks later for something to be done. We wore orange pins on the day we buried our daughter for gun violence awareness. Because as much as we want justice for our daughter, this is something no parent should ever have to do. We thank the community, and we ask for you to continue to support and continue to reach out until the full hand of the law is exacted with justice for our Jenesis, Jenesis Dockery. All right. Justice. Need justice for Jenesis. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate you. We will keep you updated through our press release. Michael Wakil, I think he have all your information as things progress. Once we know things, we will let you all know. I think the sheriff office may be making a statement later, so be on the lookout for that. All right, thank you. I appreciate it.